start, as Stephanie said, this is going to be interactive, and we're going to have some interactive stuff. On the middle of your tables there are pieces of paper that are turned over. We're going to talk about those in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, thank you. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to get up here and talk in front of my district, in front of my club, in front of my peers. And it's always an honor to be asked to come and speak. And when Sharon texted me and said, hey, this is Sharon, I'm putting on TLI, can you help me? What does every Toastmaster naturally say?
Yes.
Yes. So, had no idea what the topic was going to be, what I was going to be doing, anything like that, but when somebody asks you, can you help, you automatically say, yes. She then tells me, hey, can you do a presentation on building healthy Toastmasters teams? And I say, yes. One of the things that you learn when you are building your own business and when you are building a speaking business or coaching business or training business is, doesn't matter what the topic is, the answer is always yes. Small problem, had no idea what I was going to talk about. That's okay, because one of the things that Toastmasters are good at is, other than saying yes, is doing the research and putting together the presentation and knowing when it comes to TLI, when it comes to the time to get up and talk in front of all of you, we're going to have a great presentation and everybody's going to walk away having learned something. So, having said that, we are indeed going to learn something today. And we are going to talk about how to build a healthy team. And I'm not just talking about officer teams, I'm also talking about your club. Okay, all of what we're talking about today has to do with not only officers, but also club members. And it's going in and out. We're going to explore how to build healthy clubs. We're going to talk about strategies for enhancing collaboration and performance. And we're going to cover the 3 areas Stephanie mentioned: communication, trust, and conflict resolution. When it comes to healthy Toastmasters team, can we all agree that a healthy Toastmasters team is one that's going to collaborate, one that's going to communicate openly, and one that's going to have members that trust one another? Do we all agree to that?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Those of you online, let me see those hands going up. There we go. Okay. Very, very good. Who remembers the club mission that we read earlier today? I'll give you a hint. It's in the beginning. Okay. All right. So the club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. A healthy team has that. A healthy team has members, and a healthy team wants their members to grow. So when we're talking about putting together healthy teams, that's what we're talking about, is we're talking about focusing on that mission at the club level to create these healthy teams. Enhanced teamwork is going to lead to increased volunteer satisfaction, to better service delivery, and create a greater community impact. By fostering a positive, productive team environment, Toastmasters clubs can achieve their mission, and we know what that mission is, and we can more effectively impact the lives of our members and our communities. Now, according to the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance, organizations with strong volunteer engagements are 23% more likely to achieve their goals. Last time I checked, we're all volunteers, right?
Good.
Okay. And last time I checked, we all want to achieve our goals, right?
Good.
Yep. So guess what? We're going to make sure that we build healthy teams so that we can do that. Let's get started by looking at effective communication. Now, when I'm saying the words effective communication, what do you think that means? Yes.
What I say is what you hear.
So what you say is what I hear. Okay? All right, I like that. Anybody else? They're just like, oh. Okay. One more. Yes. Listening. Ooh, listening. Good. Listening? Why would anybody want to listen? Well, what's listening have to do with communication? This is where you laugh, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're actually going to talk a little bit about listening. There are 3 elements to effective communication that we're going to focus on. One is open communication, one is active listening, and one is clarity and consistency. Open communication means encouraging team members to share ideas and to share feedback openly. So we're not putting the damper on it, we're not saying, oh, no, we don't talk about that, we're not saying, that's not such a good idea. No, we're encouraging those ideas, we're encouraging those feedback. To do this, we need to use communication tools. And there's lots of tools out there because we live in a world full of technology. We can use technology to help us to continue to communicate with our team members. We can use tools like Slack, like Trello, like Microsoft Teams. We can use email, we can text people, we can even create private groups on social media where we can send messages back and forth. Now, she mentioned listening. Who here would agree with me that active listening takes a lot of work?
Amen.
Who thinks active? Let me see online. Where there's hands? Oh yeah. Active listening takes a whole lot of work. You can practice active listening by maintaining eye contact, nodding, summarizing what somebody said in your own words, because active listening is going to build up trust between you and the person that you're listening to. We're going to talk about trust in just a little while. Okay, we'll get back to that in just a minute. Clarity and consistency are needed any time you communicate. We just had an awesome, I'm not allowed to use the word great because I come from the Greensboro Club, but we just had an awesome presentation about different tools your club can use for setting goals and achieving those goals. Nate did please forgive me, a great job of explaining that to all of us. When was the last time you explained that clearly and consistently explained that to your members, not only of your officer teams, but of your club? How many of them are aware of all these tools and what they can be used for? You can use the club success plan to help you set SMART goals. We all know what SMART goals are, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. That helps to create a sense of clarity for you and your teams. You can provide regular updates to your officers by having officer meetings. Oh, what a novel concept. Get officers together on a regular basis and meet. And then report back to your club and let your club know what your officers are doing. Don't keep them in the dark. Okay, that's part of that open communication. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that when we talk about trust too, because you need to be transparent about that. Additionally, you can establish a continuous feedback loop to continuously improve communication and let people know how things are working. All right, so this is where I need the help of our lovely Zoom team and all of you. So Zoom people, you are about to be put into breakout rooms, and here in the actual physical room, you're already at table, so you're already together. What you're going to be doing in your groups is you are going to be coming up with at least 3 ideas of how to communicate better as a team. Okay, so think about your clubs, think about the officers in your clubs. You're going to be put into random groups online here. Like I said, you got your tables. You're going to have 5 minutes to do this. Okay, but you need to come up with 3 ideas of how to better communicate as a team. For the people on Zoom, I need one of the people in your group to record everything, and when you come back to the main room, I need you to type all of your ideas into the chat so you can share it with all of us and with everybody online. Here in the room, you've got pieces of paper, and if you flip them over, one of them says effective communication. I want you, each person, each group here at the tables, the person with the most legible writing, please write down those ideas that you come up with. Okay? All right, so everybody, you have 5 minutes. If the Zoom people can go got 5 minutes. Go.
Students are opening now.
Anybody have people read back what they so a read back.
Yeah, glad to help.
So what I heard her say is that she wants us to come up with 3 ideas to help us communicate. So I just read back what I did.
Did you hear this?
No, I did not.
So we are coming up with 3 ideas that will help us communicate more. And mine was, so basically, you read back what. And you should my kids. Okay, read back what. Okay, read back.
Let me make it plain.
Like he said, like that's
That's very effective.
Provide psychological safety.
yeah, that.
Okay, so thanks for having
I mean, it kind of started with like the whole girls idea, really. Just kind of hyping it up and like, oh, you know, like she comes in wearing a pretty new dress, and you know, just kind of great job on that. And you know, I heard you do this, but you know, I think you meant this, but it's still amazing. You know, just kind of that safe environment. And he asked about the personal lives, and very deep, and a lot of people connect with it. So.
You're at the halfway point. 2.5 minutes. Keep going.
Yeah, I feel like if someone isn't positive or trusting, or if they kind of have a overbearing demeanor to them, and they kind of have negative, like people against their program are saying that negativity kind of like feeds upon suffering, or like encouragement, positivity. So the opposite of those things are kind of negative.
I didn't have it. I was
You were looking at me to I think you were asking me a question.
Don't make assumptions. I think that's in general right. Are clear. And that's why the internet is so frustrating. There's so much diversity.
I think that's not right. I think it's something that happens with fasting. I think maybe a more effective way is saying
Start wrapping things up, everyone. 30 seconds. Toastmaster, if you could start bringing everybody back for us, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Those of you online, I know you had a great time talking with your peeps in your breakout room. Like I said, if the person who was responsible online for figuring out what all your ideas are, type them up into the chat. So that way, everybody online can see what you came up with, what ideas you came up with. And we're going to save that chat. We're going to be sharing that with other people. In the room, we have some ideas that you came up with here. So I'd like to hear one of the ideas that you came up with, because you came up with whole bunches. Kathy, who at your table has them? Oh, good.
I do.
All right.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Based on some happenings at Gregory Hyman this year, we felt that. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was actually going to be on. Okay. Everybody, I'm Kathy Sticky from the High Noon Toastmasters. We felt that having a dedicated text change to communicate effectively and quickly with either the officers regarding issues, and again, dedicated only to Toastmaster stuff, not to be sending funny memes. You can do that another way. And then to have another dedicated member text chain, again, to get information out to the members quickly in case of an emergency, a quick room change, or to do reminders and updates about important stuff. So dedicated text chain.
Excellent. Love it. Great idea. How about the table back here? What's one idea you came up with?
Communicating through a newsletter.
Ooh.
We felt that if ideas wanted to be shared among members, that sometimes it would be a great idea to use a newsletter, and that it is not putting people on the spot, but yet hopefully allowing them to read it and be informed.
Thank you. As a former administration manager who worked very closely with her district director, I can tell you every month this group is looking for content for a newsletter, and if clubs already have that content and would like to share it with the district, they're probably more than welcome to get that information from you. What about this table?
So I signed up to be a note taker, not necessarily a speaker.
Oh,
Glad I'm in Toastmasters, I need you all.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with, we had quite a few different ideas, and as Angela had mentioned, we kind of had like more, what do you call it, philosophical idea on communication at our table here. So I'm going to speak to asking questions.
Okay.
So we came up with one of the ideas, just ask questions. Try not to assume what people are communicating. If you maybe not understand, ask questions to kind of gain that understanding.
Excellent. Love it. Great job. Okay. How about this table up here? Where's my note taker? There she is. All right. So what's one idea you came up with?
We came up with a couple great ideas, but one we came up with was ask for confirmation by summarizing and repeating back for understanding to make sure that you understood correctly what the other person was saying.
Excellent. Thanks, Jen. How about this table up here? What was one idea you came up with?
Yeah, we came up with a lot, but one that kind of repeated through was being kind of culturally aware, tagging on there, asking and making sure if your listener is a different culture, are they understanding, watching their body language, and just making sure that you're clear on point.
Excellent. Thank you. Table back there. What was one idea you came up with?
We came up with some magnificent ideas. Where set aside the time. That means you got to start on time, finish on time, and focus on the topic.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
One of our overarching ideas was called setting the table in terms of just having very clear expectations in terms of this is how we will communicate, what channels we'll use, this is the expectations for responding to communications, just to have everybody on the same page in terms of how we communicate as a team.
Excellent. Love it. How about this table up here?
Couple of ideas that we came up, and we have multiple, but the ones that are standing out is, one is establishing feedback loops and having regular follow-ups on whatever we are doing. And also, other one is moderating with an agenda. Even if we meet for a few minutes, meet with a purpose and focus on it, and make sure you're not wasting time. So many meetings we just end up wasting time.
Okay.
So we don't want to waste any time there.
Correct. Excellent. Thank you. You guys are doing fabulous. All right. And don't worry, online people, like I said, we're going to have access to what you're typing in the chat, and it's going to be shared with others. And after our next breakout session, I'm going to be coming to some of you online for this. So, our next topic, what we're moving on to, is building trust. Where are we in building trust? And why don't we want to go? He's like, I don't know why it doesn't want to go. Building trust. We're going to move on to trust building activities. There are 4 areas we're going to discuss when it comes to this. That's team building, transparency, reliability, and supportive environment. Okay? For team building, your officer team, your club can engage in team building activities, kind of like what you're doing right now. Okay? Here, you're at TLI, you can have workshops, you can have, retreats. You can do something fun. Go bowling. Do something as a team building exercise. And the reason why you want to do that is because when people get to know you better, that increases the trust factor. Okay? They want to know, like, and trust you. And to do that, put yourselves into an environment where you're going to spend some time together, getting to know one another, and having fun together. That's one of the fastest ways you can start to build trust. When it comes to transparency, I want you to think about information sharing. How many of you know what information silos are? When I say the word information silos. Okay, anybody online know what an information silo is? Okay. Information silos is when somebody gets information and they think, Sharon doesn't need to know that. Don doesn't need to know that. Jim doesn't need to know that. I'm just going to keep this to myself. When we see this happen in teams, when you see these information silos happen in teams, that means you're not being very transparent. That means the information isn't flowing. People don't have the information that they truly do need to be able to get things done. And so we need to make sure that we are transparent, we are sharing as much information as possible with people. So that way they feel like they're part of the organization. They're in the know, they know what's going on. And some of those tools you just talked about when it comes to communication will help with that transparency. For reliability, I want you to remember the big 3. Reliability, consistency, and dependability. Now, those are 3 different words, but they have a lot of similarities. Okay? Reliability means being trustworthy and performing consistently well. Consistency means always behaving or performing in a similar way. Dependability means being relied on, trustworthy, and constancy. It doesn't matter which of those words you use, all of them build up that trust. And that's how we all want to describe ourselves. Charlie talked about, when you describe yourself, you're prescribing what it is that you're going to become. Start describing yourself as reliable, as dependable, as consistent. And that's what you will become. And that will help build up that trust. Last but not least, we want to create a supportive environment that includes encouragement. We want to foster a supportive environment where team members are going to succeed. And one way to do that is through mentorship. Now, we already talked a little bit, they brought up mentorship before. I want you to think about mentorship when it comes to not only new members, but also new officers. Because one of the best ways to get people involved is to get them to take on an officer role. And if they're a new member, they may not quite know what to expect, and they may have some questions. And yeah, they're here at TLI, and they're going to get all excited, and they're going to get tons and tons of information thrown at them. And then next month, when they're at their very first meeting in that role, they're going to be like, oh, what do I have to do again? So team them up with somebody in your club who has done this before. That will help build up their level of comfort, but it'll also help them to trust others who are there, who have done this before. Okay. Next breakout session, we're going to do the exact same thing, only this time, here in the group, you have trust building ideas as a sheet of paper. Online, once again, you're going to go into breakout rooms. And once again, I want you to come up with at least 3 ideas of what your officer team or what your club can do to help build trust in your organization. Once again, you've got 5 minutes to do this. This should be super easy at this point. And online people, when you come back, remember to type it into the chat. Go.
Pass.
Well, the one I had for the last one is the same thing for here. One of them was relationships. So in full communication, you use it. Get the president of the club. You're the president. Get the president of the club. Contacts all their members. Communicate by phone. Build a rapport. And then you
arriving on time, starting on time. For us, we all are engaged, respectful, yeah. Because you're saying lunchtime, you're saying it's a good lunch.
We need to monitor our own tones, and I think that part of that is monitoring our speakers. Because whenever I see someone running me down, I wonder if they're running me down. Choosing our words to prescribe what they want to and timing things that you're addressing. Is this a time when they got the bandwidth to deal with whatever? I have to do work. I don't think about this stuff, so I just
Less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. All right. Kathy's just like, ooh, I need to be ready to go here. All right, people should be starting to come back from online at this point. We need them back. Zoom rooms need to close. Okay.
I hated myself a lot. I don't know.
Are they coming back? I don't think they're back.
I'm like my own worst.
There they go. Okay, now they're coming back. All right. Welcome back. If you're on Zoom, welcome back. We're glad to have you back into the main room. Once again, Zoom people, whoever was taking notes, if they would please take everything up into the chat. And actually, I would appreciate it if we had one or two people who are online share one of the ideas that they came up with for building up trust. So who online can do that for me? Who's one or two people who can do that for me? They're like, why would you call on us? Okay. Who do we got? Anybody online? Or did y'all hang out and drink coffee and eat donuts together? All right, so I see a hand up. Go ahead. Is she unmuted? No. Your hand is up.
Can you,
Julie?
hear me speaking, Michelle?
I can hear you speaking, yes. I see Julie's hand is up, and that's it. All right.
Julia, are you on, oops, wait, sorry,
Harley, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. All right, go ahead, Julia.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. So one of the concepts that we thought about building trust was a concept around making deposits now that pay dividends in the future. So when someone reaches out for help or support, you will step up and do whatever it takes to help them with their request.
Excellent.
And then in the future, they're going to be there to show up for you later.
Excellent. Love that. Okay. Perfect. All right. We're going to move on to the next topic because I want you guys to have time to spend doing this. And that next topic, maybe we're going to move on to the next topic, is conflict resolution. And when it comes to conflict resolution, go back. There we go. When it comes to conflict resolution, this is the third and final area that we are going to focus on. And I want you to keep in mind, conflict isn't necessarily a bad thing. Okay, what causes conflict is when people don't agree on something, when people have a difference of opinion, when people have a difference of perspective. That's what causes conflict. And the reality is we need conflict to happen. And the reason why is because if everybody had the exact same thoughts and the exact same way of doing things and there were no different ideas, it would be very hard to overcome some of the challenges that you face as a team. And you would have very boring Toastmasters clubs because everything would be exactly the same. So when it comes to conflict, keep in mind it can be good. However, when it starts to get a little escalated, when it starts to go on track, there are a few things to keep in mind. And the first thing is that we need early intervention, we need mediation, and we have to have a process put into place. So when it comes to early intervention, that means looking for signs and identifying and addressing conflicts early before they do start to escalate. We need to stay calm, we need to stay neutral, and address conflicts early on. If the conflict is escalating, we need to move on to mediation. And that means having a neutral third-party person come in and help come up with solutions or mediate a solution to your particular conflict. That can be somebody in your club, it could be somebody in your area, your division, in your district. There's lots of people in this room who would be more than happy to help you come up with a solution to your conflict. And finally, you have to have a process in place to resolve conflict before the conflict even begins. And that's what we're going to focus on next, is you need to have steps involved. You need to have a process. You need to have rules for your officers and for your club to follow when it comes to conflict resolution. So what we're going to do in this last breakout session, and we really actually have less than 5 minutes. So I want you to take the next 3 minutes, because we don't have 5 minutes left. I want you to take the next 3 minutes, and I want you to come up with at least 3 rules your clubs can use for conflict resolution. Okay, remember to do this online. Type up your stuff into the chat when you come back. But come up with 3 rules of what you can do for conflict resolution. You got 3 minutes to come up with 3 rules. Go.
Let's go kind of
I don't know. Again, just communication is one thing. She kind of said it already, like finding a neutral party. Like I'm thinking, there's a lawsuit, you get to a meeting, and help come up with a solution. She already said setting boundaries, for instance. It's easy to kind of incorporate topics that we're not
I would say identify the mediators in advance.
Yeah, looks like you got it, right? I set the timer at 3 minutes. It's not going to close that for a second. This timer showing that I'm sharing this other screen is just visual time to meeting.
I like that same
We got less than a minute. Come up with your 3 rules.
But can people get to an objective point? I feel like not everyone has everything they do.
Alright, online, if you could close the breakout rooms and bring everybody back, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here in the room, you are finished. Alright, everybody. How useful was this for you? Very, okay. You do need more time, I understand. So here's the reason why I had you write down, and for those of you online, welcome back. Please make sure whoever wrote everything down types it up into the chat. Here's the reason why I had you do that. I'm going to collect up all these sheets, and we're saving the chat, and next week I am going to send to our illustrious leaders all of the ideas that you came up with. And that's the reason why I asked you to write them legibly. And that way they're going to send them out to at least 1 or 2 people in each of the clubs. Probably, I'm guessing, president and maybe the secretary. So that way you'll have access to, say all the club officers, cool. That way you'll have access to all of the ideas that you came up with here, all the tables, everything online. Okay? Because I want you to be able to take the time to be able to be successful and to create these healthy teams. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about creating healthy teams that will perform, that will be productive, and that can count on one another. Because when we do that, we have a healthy district. And so thank you, Toastmasters, thank you, District 13. Let's take the ideas that you created today and build healthy teams.